snitching is happening. He also unfollowed Lil Durk on Instagram, so read into that as you may. However you want to read into it as you may. Now, being accused of a snitch for most street dudes will be the worst news they will receive.
Is this real? New evidence has surfaced, and it's shaking the rap world to its core. For years, the death of King Von has been shrouded in mystery, speculation, and unanswered questions. Now, a shocking discovery appears to confirm the unthinkable. Did Lil Durk orchestrate King Von's murder? Prepare for a deep dive into the evidence, the motives, and the potential downfall of an empire. You won't believe what we're about to uncover. The silence surrounding King Von's tragic death in November 2020 has always felt unnatural. The official report cited a shootout between rival gangs in Atlanta, leaving King Von dead and several others injured. But the details never quite added up. The investigation seemed rushed, key witnesses remained silent, and a pervasive sense of unease lingered, fueling countless theories and online conspiracies. Now, years later, whispers of a far more sinister truth are escalating into something undeniable. The possibility that Lil Durk was involved, even complicit, in the events that led to King Von's demise. The initial narrative painted a picture of a tragic but understandable consequence of gang violence. King Von, a prominent figure in the OTF, Only the Family collective, known for his gritty storytelling and undeniable talent, was reportedly in Atlanta with his crew. A confrontation ensued, and gunfire erupted. The story was presented as a simple case of rivalries colliding, a grim reality in the world of hip-hop. However, the lack of transparency and the glaring inconsistencies in the official account immediately raised eyebrows. Many fans and industry insiders questioned the speed with which the case was seemingly closed, and the absence of any significant arrests or convictions. The core of the current resurgence of these claims lies in examining the complex relationship between Lil Durk and King Von. While they initially collaborated and shared a platform within the OTF collective, a palpable tension seemed to develop over time. King Von's rising star power and increasingly introspective lyrics, often delving into uncomfortable truths about the streets and the music industry, began to overshadow Durk's own trajectory. The undeniable truth is that King Von's authenticity and lyrical prowess consistently challenged Durk's dominance within the collective. This created a professional rivalry, one that could only be resolved with one party ascendant. The question then arises, did this professional jealousy morph into something far more dangerous? Crucially, evidence emerges pointing towards a potential financial motive. As King Von's popularity surged, he began to attract lucrative endorsement deals and streaming royalties that seemingly bypassed Lil Durk's direct control. The potential loss of revenue, coupled with the perceived threat to Durk's standing within the OTF, provides a plausible, albeit disturbing, explanation for the escalation of hostilities. While money isn't always the primary driver, in the hyper-competitive world of hip-hop, it's a powerful and often corrosive force. The argument isn't simply about greed. It's about maintaining power and influence within a cutthroat industry. The key figure allegedly connected to the events is known only as London. While his identity remains shrouded in mystery, sources claim that he acted as an intermediary between Lil Durk and the individuals allegedly responsible for carrying out the attack. London's role,
Daddy is claiming that he was present when Otiavani paid for the hit that led to King Von being killed. There's something in the water this week, bruh. At least Queso Daddy snitched and got Queso life in prison because the daddy was facing significant jail time.
Confirmed, positions Durk as the mastermind behind the tragedy, pulling the strings from the shadows. The lack of a definitive explanation for London's involvement only deepens the mystery and adds another layer of complexity to the narrative. The deliberate obscurity surrounding his identity suggests a calculated effort to protect those involved, hinting at a conspiracy that reaches far beyond the streets of Atlanta. The silence from ODF members and those closely associated with both artists has only amplified the suspicions. The lack of open mourning or willingness to publicly address the lingering questions suggests a potential cover-up, a collective effort to bury the truth and protect the reputations of those implicated. The weight of silence speaks volumes, implying a shared knowledge that cannot be openly acknowledged. This coordinated lack of communication breeds mistrust and reinforces the perception that something deeply unsettling transpired. Furthermore, the timing of certain events surrounding the incident demands scrutiny. The release of diss tracks and the escalation of online beef between Durk and King Von in the months leading up to the shooting paints a picture of escalating tensions and a deliberate effort to publicly antagonize one another. These actions, whether genuine or staged, contributed to a climate of animosity that ultimately culminated in the tragic events of November 2020. The public nature of these exchanges suggests a carefully orchestrated campaign intended to create a specific narrative and deflect blame. While the accusations against Lil Durk remain unproven, the sheer volume of circumstantial evidence and the persistent questions surrounding King Von's death warrant a renewed investigation. The possibility that a financial motive and professional jealousy fueled a tragic outcome is a dark and disturbing reality that cannot be ignored. The search for truth continues, driven by the unwavering desire of King Von's fans to find justice and finally understand the circumstances surrounding his untimely death. The questions remain, demanding answers and shining a harsh light on the dark side of the music industry. The echoes of Atlanta's fateful night continue to reverberate, and the quest for accountability remains paramount. The relentless pursuit of truth surrounding King Von's death has unearthed a chilling possibility, a deliberate orchestration of events fueled by financial motives and professional jealousy, with Lil Durk implicated in a scheme to silence a rising rival. While definitive proof remains elusive, the mounting circumstantial evidence paints a disturbing portrait of a calculated act disguised as street violence. The release of diss tracks and the escalation of online beef between Durk and King Von in the months leading up to the shooting paints a picture of escalating tensions and a deliberate effort to publicly antagonize one another. These actions, whether genuine or staged, contributed to a climate of animosity that ultimately culminated in the tragic events of November 2020. The public nature of these exchanges suggests a carefully orchestrated campaign intended to create a specific narrative and deflect blame. While the accusations against Lil Durk remain unproven, the sheer volume of circumstantial evidence and the persistent questions surrounding King Von's death warrant a renewed investigation. The possibility that a financial motive and professional jealousy fueled a tragic outcome is a dark and disturbing reality that cannot be ignored. The search for truth.
Off the back of this, people on Reddit are actually saying that this is likely to create a civil war between OTF, Lil Durk's crew, and O Block, which is King Von's crew. People are saying the OTF versus O Block war will happen in 2025 or early 2026 after the Lil Durk case is
continues, driven by the unwavering desire of King Von's fans to find justice and finally understand the circumstances surrounding his untimely death. The questions remain, demanding answers and shining a harsh light on the dark side of the music industry. The echoes of Atlanta's fateful night continue to reverberate, and the quest for accountability remains paramount. The initial narrative presented by authorities, a straightforward case of street violence following a shooting, simply doesn't hold water under scrutiny. The rapid and targeted nature of the attack on King Von and his entourage, resulting in multiple casualties, while Von himself was fatally wounded, points towards a level of planning and precision rarely associated with spontaneous gang disputes. Consider the disses, not casual boasts, but intensely personal attacks that escalated with unsettling speed. Each track was a carefully constructed insult, a deliberate attempt to provoke a reaction, to draw King Von into a public confrontation. These weren't the impulsive utterances of rivalries simmering beneath the surface. They were calculated provocations designed to manufacture a specific outcome. The financial element, often whispered in hushed tones within the hip-hop community, forms a critical piece of this puzzle. King Von's rise was meteoric. His raw talent and authentic storytelling resonated with audiences, propelling him to a level of success that threatened to eclipse Lil Durk's established career. A young artist on the cusp of superstardom, King Von represented a financial threat, a potential usurper to Durk's position at the apex of the Chicago rap scene. The prospect of losing endorsements, touring revenue, and overall market share could have motivated a desperate act, a cold-blooded calculation disguised as retribution. It's not merely about ego. It's about dollars and cents. The music industry, for all its artistry and creativity, is fundamentally a business. Artists are brands, and brands compete for market dominance. The competition can be brutal, and the stakes are incredibly high. The lure of increased wealth and power can drive individuals to commit acts they would otherwise find unthinkable. The public nature of the feud further fuels suspicion. The constant barrage of disses and online taunts wasn't simply about bragging rights. It served a purpose. It created a smokescreen, a distraction designed to divert attention from the underlying motive. It allowed those involved to manipulate the narrative, to control the perception of events. The media, eager for sensationalism, amplified the feud, unwittingly playing into the hands of those orchestrating the scheme. The constant back and forth provided a ready-made explanation for the tragedy. A street fight between rivals, effectively shielding those pulling the strings from scrutiny. Moreover, the accounts of individuals present at the scene have been inconsistent and contradictory, raising serious questions about the veracity of the official narrative. Witnesses have described a coordinated attack, with individuals appearing to be strategically positioned to carry out the assault. Some have even hinted at the involvement of individuals with connections to Lil Durk's inner circle. These testimonies, while often fragmented and unreliable, contribute to the growing sense that something sinister was at play. The details don't add up. The picture painted by the authorities seems incomplete, deliberately obfuscated. The focus on street violence as the root cause
The claim that Lil Tim was paid for the murder of King Von in April.
Was gonna beat the case. I'm finna tell you, I don't know how much money they gave him, but I went with him to go get a bag to Lil Tim. This is a fact. We paid Lil Tim in April. We didn't kill him till November.
also conveniently ignores the powerful and complex web of relationships that exist within the music industry. Managers, promoters, record labels, these are all players with vested interests, individuals who may have had reasons to benefit from King Von's demise. The investigation has largely overlooked these connections, focusing solely on the immediate participants in the altercation. It's a classic case of looking for a simple explanation when a far more intricate plot is at hand. The persistence of these questions, the unwavering determination of King Von's loyal fans to uncover the truth, underscores the profound sense of injustice that pervades the community. They refuse to accept the official explanation, knowing in their hearts that something is amiss. Their voices, amplified by social media, demand a renewed investigation, a thorough and impartial examination of all the evidence. The possibility that this was not merely a tragic accident, but a meticulously planned execution, fueled by envy and greed, is a chilling indictment of the dark side of fame and fortune. It's a stark reminder that the pursuit of success can lead individuals down a path of moral compromise, where the line between ambition and criminality becomes blurred. The search for truth continues, driven by the unwavering desire of King Von's fans to find justice and finally understand the circumstances surrounding his untimely death. It's a quest for accountability, a demand that those responsible for his death be brought to justice, no matter how powerful or influential they may be. The unanswered questions surrounding King Von's death have festered, transforming from a tragedy into a rallying cry for a community demanding justice. The official narrative, presented as a straightforward shootout stemming from a dispute, simply doesn't hold water for many. It's a narrative conveniently packaged, easily digestible, and ultimately, deeply unsatisfying. The silence from certain key figures, the apparent lack of thorough investigation, the subtle inconsistencies in witness testimonies, all of these elements have fueled the suspicion that something far more sinister occurred that fateful night. The unwavering belief among his loyal fan base that King Von was targeted, that his life was deliberately taken, has only intensified over time. This isn't a mourning process, it's a call to arms, a digital crusade fueled by a profound sense of betrayal. The most potent fuel for this conviction, and the core of the online discourse, revolves around the complex relationship between King Von and Lil Durk. Their history is one of collaboration, competition, and crucially, a simmering tension that many believe escalated beyond mere professional rivalry. The success of one seemingly amplified the insecurities and resentments of the other. While they publicly presented a facade of camaraderie, the underlying currents of animosity were palpable, detectable in subtle digs during interviews, unspoken barbs in lyrics, and the often strained dynamics on stage. This isn't simply about two artists vying for the same spotlight. It speaks to a deeper, more personal conflict, one that some argue reached a tragic boiling point. The online sleuths and devoted fans have meticulously pieced together a narrative, drawing connections between seemingly disparate events and highlighting inconsistencies in the police report. They point to the seemingly casual dismissal of potential motives, the rapid closure of investigation, and the lack of concrete evidence.
Real ones show up, oh, they get suspicious. Lil Durk doing everything he did for King Von, bringing him to the Breakfast Club, putting him on records, bringing him in rooms, setting him up with producers and hit makers. He did all of
linking anyone to the crime. Their arguments aren't based on baseless accusations. They are founded on a pattern of behavior, a history of conflict, and a distinct lack of transparency. The digital footprint of their investigation is extensive, filled with detailed timelines, analyzed lyrics, and painstakingly researched background information. It's a testament to the dedication and relentless pursuit of truth that defines this online movement. The claims circulating online aren't accusations to be taken lightly, but are presented as a logical conclusion based on circumstantial evidence and a deep understanding of the Chicago rap scene. The suggestion that Lil Durk, driven by envy and a desire to eliminate competition, orchestrated King Von's death is a serious one. The argument isn't that Durk pulled the trigger himself, but that he used his influence and connections to facilitate the attack, paying individuals to carry out the act. This isn't a theory born of malice or baseless speculation. It's a product of meticulous observation and a keen awareness of the dynamics at play within the world of hip-hop. The evidence, though circumstantial, paints a compelling picture. There's the undeniable history of conflict between the two artists, the competitive drive that fueled their ambitions, and the simmering resentment that permeated their relationship. Then there are the financial incentives, the potential for increased dominance in the rap scene that would accrue to Durk if Von were removed from the equation. This isn't about isolated incidents. It's about a pattern of behavior, a consistent narrative of tension and animosity that culminated in a devastating tragedy. The online community's pursuit isn't solely focused on assigning blame. It's driven by a demand for accountability. They believe that the truth has been suppressed, that a miscarriage of justice has occurred, and that those responsible for King Von's death must be held accountable. This isn't just about finding the killer. It's about exposing a system that allows such tragedies to occur, a culture that prioritizes fame and fortune over human life. The demand for a renewed investigation is a call for transparency, a plea for justice, and a refusal to accept the official explanation. The power of social media has been instrumental in amplifying these voices, connecting individuals who share a common goal, to uncover the truth and honor King Von's memory. The online forums and discussion boards dedicated to this case are vibrant communities, filled with passionate individuals who are committed to finding answers. They share information, analyze evidence, and support each other in their pursuit of justice. This isn't just about online chatter. It's about a collective effort to challenge the status quo and demand accountability. The search for truth has brought to light uncomfortable realities about the world of hip-hop, a world where ambition often trumps morality and where success is often achieved at any cost. It's a stark reminder that the pursuit of fame and fortune can lead individuals down a dangerous path, blurring the lines between right and wrong and leading to irreversible consequences. The relentless questioning of the official narrative is a testament to the unwavering belief that King Von deserved better, that his life mattered, and that those responsible for his death must be brought to justice. The fight isn't over, it's just beginning. The unwavering belief that King Von deserved better has spurred a relentless digging, a meticulous dissection of every detail surrounding his untimely death.
He's allegedly had a protective order filed for him. And some people are thinking this is some sort of protective custody or some sort of protection of his identity for, becoming a snitch for the state. That doesn't necessarily mean for sure.
Process fueled by frustration with official explanations that many find incomplete, even dismissive. This isn't merely about finding a perpetrator. It's about exposing a system, a culture, that allows such tragedies to occur and then attempts to bury them under a veneer of silence and manufactured narratives. The internet, especially social media, has become the crucible where this truth-seeking takes place, transforming concerned individuals into a collective force challenging the established order. The echoes of King Von's vibrant persona continue to reverberate within these online communities. They've become havens for those who refuse to accept the official account of events, spaces where personal recollections intertwine with investigative analyses, creating a powerful mosaic of a life cut short and the circumstances surrounding it. These aren't casual observers. They are a dedicated network, constantly sharing fragments of information, scrutinizing timelines, and piecing together a picture that often contradicts the officially sanctioned version. It's a process fraught with challenges, misinformation, deliberate obfuscation, and the overwhelming complexity of the situation, but the commitment to finding answers remains unwavering. The central question, the one that has ignited the most fervent debate and driven the most intense scrutiny, revolves around the potential involvement of Lil Durk. The whispers started subtly, growing into a persistent murmur within the online forums. At first, they were dismissed as mere speculation, fueled by the complex and often volatile relationship between the two artists. But as more information surfaced, as patterns emerged, and as timelines were cross-referenced, the murmurs began to coalesce into a more substantial accusation that Lil Durk, driven by a mixture of jealousy, ambition, and perhaps something more sinister, orchestrated King Von's murder. The argument isn't based on concrete, irrefutable proof, at least not yet. Instead, it's built upon a series of circumstantial details, inconsistencies in witness testimonies, and a careful examination of the events leading up to the shooting. The timeline of their relationship is particularly revealing, a tapestry woven with threads of friendship, competition, and animosity. Early on, there appeared to be genuine camaraderie, a shared experience of navigating the treacherous landscape of the Chicago rap scene. But as their careers progressed, a simmering tension began to emerge, fueled by contrasting trajectories and the inherent pressures of the music industry. The rapid ascent of Lil Durk, juxtaposed with King Von's more measured climb, created a dynamic ripe for jealousy and resentment. Durk's ability to consistently generate hits, his broader appeal, and his more robust support system fostered an environment where King Von's successes felt like a direct threat. This isn't simply about professional rivalry. It's about the darker aspects of ambition, the willingness to sacrifice personal relationships in the relentless pursuit of fame and fortune. The accusations against Lil Durk aren't based on a single, smoking gun piece of evidence. Instead, they are built upon a mosaic of seemingly disparate details that, when viewed in aggregate, paint a disturbing picture. Witnesses have come forward, often anonymously, sharing information about conversations overheard, meetings held in secret, and suspicious financial transactions. These accounts are often fragmented and contradictory, making it difficult.
I think a lot of people.
I'm gonna give you this. It's a back door, and I got all the pieces. That's all I'm gonna tell you. As Durk asked Vonnie, "Is it open?" Vonnie told him it's off the hinges.
Wait. Are you
difficult to establish a definitive chain of events? However, the sheer volume of these accounts, their consistency in certain key details, lends credence to the possibility of a calculated plan. The financial aspect of the allegations is particularly compelling. Reports have surfaced suggesting that significant sums of money were transferred from accounts associated with Lil Durk to individuals known to be involved in criminal activity in the weeks leading up to King Von's death. The purpose of these transfers remains officially unexplained, but the timing and the recipients strongly suggest a connection to the murder. These financial trails are difficult to trace definitively, but their existence raises serious questions about Lil Durk's potential involvement. The online forums have become sophisticated hubs for this investigation, utilizing data analytics and forensic techniques to dissect the available information. Timelines are meticulously reconstructed, alibis are scrutinized, and witness testimonies are cross-referenced. The collective intelligence of these online communities has surpassed anything that could be achieved by a single investigator. They operate with a relentless determination, undeterred by threats or intimidation. The power of this collective effort cannot be overstated. While the official investigation may have stalled or been compromised, the online community continues to dig, to question, and to demand answers. They are driven by a profound sense of justice, a belief that King Von deserved better, and that those responsible for his death must be brought to account. They understand that the pursuit of truth can be dangerous, but they are willing to risk everything to uncover the full story. The accusations against Lil Durk haven't been met with a formal response, fueling speculation and intensifying the online scrutiny. The silence itself speaks volumes, suggesting either a guilty conscience or a deliberate attempt to control the narrative. The online community recognizes that the truth is often uncomfortable, that it can challenge deeply held beliefs and expose uncomfortable realities. But they are committed to pursuing it, regardless of the consequences. The fight isn't merely about finding the shooter. It's about dismantling a system that allows violence to flourish, a system that prioritizes profit over human life. It's about demanding accountability from those in positions of power, both within the music industry and within the criminal justice system. It's about honoring the memory of King Von by ensuring that his death wasn't in vain. The digital trails left behind by those involved will be painstakingly examined. The pursuit of justice continues, driven by a community united by grief, anger, and an unwavering belief in the power of truth. The digital trails left behind by those involved will be painstakingly examined. The pursuit of justice continues, driven by a community united by grief, anger, and an unwavering belief in the power of truth. This isn't simply about uncovering who pulled the trigger. It's about exposing the intricate web of relationships, rivalries, and financial incentives that contributed to King Von's tragic demise. The whispers started almost immediately, accusations of a paid hit, fueled by the volatile history between King Von and Lil Durk. These weren't mere fan speculation. They resonated with a deeper unease that permeated the music industry, a system often characterized by ruthless ambition and a disregard for human cost.
Believe this, okay? This story has been going absolutely crazy for the past day or so, and as a King Von expert myself, we're just going to have to get to the bottom of it together, okay? So there's been a whole bunch of things that have been going down, and like let's just get straight in the indictment, and there's a whole lot of things. So he was charged with a number of things: conspiracy to commit murder, accessory to murder, possession of a firearm, use of a firearm during a violent crime, attempted murder, tampering with the evidence or concealment, and gang-related charges. Very friend of Durk and Vonnie. I've heard rumors that he might be Von's cousin or Durk's cousin, but I'm honestly not sure if that's entirely true. But a lot of crazy information has been spreading about him. But I just want to show you how close he was to Durk and Von. I mean,